Hello and welcome to crackingmba.com. Today we are going to talk about vocabulary and RC1. So we're going to talk about the vocabulary in terms of specifying 10 words every single day for 5 days of this week, and also going to touch upon the basics of RC, which is reading comprehension. So you can just have a look at this slide before we move to the next slide. Importance of vocab and RC. So RC is inarguably one of the most important sections in CAT. The number of questions are generally high, and hence this is very key for scoring well in verbal section. Vocabulary may not be tested directly, but it is a foundation for the verbal section, and you can be tested in various formats such as synonyms, antonyms, fill in the blanks, sentence correction, and also it helps you understand RC passages better. Some RC passages may be from history, or some may be from politics, and they might use words which you may not use in your daily language. So having a strong vocabulary helps you understand the context of the passage and also get a grasp of what the overall meaning of the passage is. Some of the key concepts that we will talk today are the 10 words for vocab and also a brief introduction of reading comprehension. Just to pause here a little bit, the approach we take is to cover 10 words every day so that you don't have to get into a rush in the last minute. So we cover 10 words every day of the week and consistently over a period of 4 months to ensure that you have a good vocabulary of some of the most frequently asked words of about 1,000 in your kitty. So that should put you in a good stead for attempting the verbal section, be it for CAT or any other competitive exam. So the first word we talk about is abase, which means to belittle or humiliate someone. So for example, the mother-in-law would give tough tasks as a way to abase the young wife in the son's eyes. The false accusations did not abase his credibility amongst his party cadre. To abash means to feel embarrassed. When someone does something and you feel embarrassed about it, for example, she felt abashed by his public expression of love in the mall. Abate means to subside or become less of something. They did not leave the island due to the rough weather, they waited for the storm to abate. Abdicate to give means to give up something. The young prince abdicated his right to the throne and went to the woods to do penance. Aberrant means being abnormal. So, if there is something that's happening that's not in the normal routine, that means aberrant. For example, the dots on the scatter plot were aberrant, and hence the professor asked for the reasons on the same. Abet means to help in doing something wrong, usually. That's why it's used in that connotation. The politician's son was arrested for abetting terrorist activities in the country. Abhor means to dislike something very badly or very deeply. Nelson Mandela abhorred the system of apartheid and called for an end to this system. Aboriginal means to be the native of the first of its kind in a specific region. For example, the Aboriginal Indians were very meticulous in their methods of gathering food. Abridge means to condense or shorten. The abridged version of the novel is available for those who would like to read on tablet. It means to condense a longer form of a given novel. Abrogate means to cancel or abolish something, usually laws or decrees. After stepping into office, the new president abrogated the laws passed by the previous government. Before we move to the reading comprehension, what I would like to emphasize is that whenever you're reading these words, you need to look at the word, the meaning, and also the sentence in which it is applied, so that it leaves a stronger impression in your mind when you're reading this. Next, we talk about RCs. So reading comprehension, as discussed, is an important section of CAT. In the next slide, you will find a snapshot of a passage. So the pattern for reading comprehension in CAT is you get a small passage in which you will get a brief context of a particular topic. The topic can be anything ranging from politics to history to science and so on. The length of a topic or a passage can also vary. A sample passage has been provided on the next slide. So this is a passage which kind of talks about laws and the legal fraternity. And based on this passage, there are some questions which are asked, and can usually number of questions asked can vary from 5 to 10 although it is not mandatory to have even 5 questions. Some passages can also have just 3 questions. On the next slide, you have a sample question which is asked based on the passage that we have just seen over here. This question can be, there are different types of questions. Again, we will talk about them in the subsequent sessions. But if you look at this question, it is based on the content that is presented in that passage. You have to infer and ask and respond to this question based on what is presented in the passage. We will talk in more detail about the different types of passages that you can get, the different types of questions, and how to approach RCs in subsequent sessions. That's it for today. You can take the mock test on our mobile app or also reach out on the dashboard section of our mobile app. Thank you.